Hey, thanks for joining me. Want to go fishing? Well, so do I. So I've set up my boat here at my holiday place, at Lake Conjola on the New South Wales south coast. And it's a beautiful morning, so why not? Let's head out, we'll throw a line and see if we can catch some fish. Say good morning to the pelicans. I'll see you when I get back, boys. It's a nice day to be out fishing. The sun's coming up, 6 a.m. Fishing the New South Wales south coast. Alright, well we've got out of that. It's a westerly wind this morning. It's actually up to 6 a.m. It's pretty strong westerly wind. Came up overnight. So she's pretty blowy out in the main lake, but nice and protected in here. So we're looking at the fish finder. We're hoping to find some pings, and as you can see there's not much happening on the fish finder, especially for flathead. There's a little bit of action there. So we might throw a line here, work our way along this bay, see how we go. All right, changed over to a grub this morning, Berkeley grub. We'll give that a go and see how we get any bites. Now it's a different sort of flathead fishing here because it's 8 foot deep, and while I prefer to fish shallows for flathead, it can be difficult with the winds and trying to find the right spot. So I have caught flatties here before. I'll spend 10-15 minutes here and just see if we can get any bites. If not, we'll move on to shallow areas. But most of these bays today that are out of this westerly, this really strong gusty westerly, are going to be in deeper water today until I can get back on the sand flats a little later on. Single slow lifts with the grub to try and get that tail working on the lift and the drop, and the odd double twitch. And throw in a slow retrieve as well. All right, with no action on the grub, I'm going to throw this shrimp for a while, see if we can get a bite there. All right, no action here, so we're going to move on to another little bay and see if we can do any good over there. She's pretty slow. Lake's still a bit shut down. Not feeling a lot of action down there. But we'll keep moving. It's nice to be out in the water. Alright, so already on the fish finder I can see a bit of movement about halfway up the column of water, so halfway along the depth of the water. So that's some tailor moving around. So we'll see if they stay. This is a little bit of a bay for us to sneak up on. So you can see we've got the edge of the bay there. I'm just going to throw onto that shallow area and come back off it. It gets pretty weedy pretty quickly through there. So I don't pull too deep to here, which is about 5 foot, 6 foot deep here. So I'm coming off that sandy edge and we've got sand across there, little bit of rock, not much. And then again it comes into this weedy bay. So I've caught flatties along here and here. We'll throw around here and see what we can find. But she's pretty quiet this morning. A beautiful morning. I just want to talk briefly about the landscape here. You have to look carefully now, but if you look, you'll find a lot of charcoal on most of those trees. It's hard to know now and hard to see now, but the 2020 Black Summer fires went through here and pretty much annihilated this landscape. And many houses back in the residential area. This area got hit pretty hard, and it's taken 5 years, but it has come back, and the growth is looking pretty good. It's a lot better on that side, as you can see. But make no mistake, the fires hit here very hard. Yep, we're going to move on. We've got not much happening here either, so we've got to keep moving. See if we can find a spot where they're biting. It's all quiet here in the bay, unfortunately. So I suppose partly what I'm trying to show with with this video, with the 2 days, is quite often a lot of fishing shows will just show they pull up to somewhere and start pulling fish in, and it's very easy to edit. But I only had a couple of hours to fish yesterday afternoon. It took me the whole session to get one. And already this morning you can see that we're going from spot to spot, no bites. And I think that's a more realistic sort of day, especially on a, you know, we're coming from winter, only just heading into spring. With a lake system like this pretty shut down, you know, I think it's important to show that you can spend a fair bit of time going from spot to spot without getting bites and without catching anything. And that's fishing, right? And some days you just score fairly easily, but some days you don't. We're seeing some of that this weekend. But we enjoy being out in the water. To the next spot. Alright, we'll throw along this edge and we'll move up along there. Again, another little spot of mine on Lake Conjola. So I'm going to use this wind now. It's getting pretty swirly, but I'm going to use the wind to drift down this edge a bit. There's no action, no bites. So we just got to keep drifting till we find the right spot. I talked a little bit earlier in the video, in yesterday's session, about my rods and setups and their light gear, very light estuary fishing, 1 to 3 kilo rods, 2 to 4 kilo rods are my heavy rods. But this is a Fluger Trion with a Fluger 1000 reel. It's a very light gear, 4-pound braid, 4-pound leader. And that's enough to catch flatties. Brim, bit of everything in this sort of estuary setup. You don't need heavy gear and it's a much more enjoyable catch once you do get them, and you can also feel the bites a lot better. You can feel the end of the line immediately. If a flathead hits your line, you can not only see it but you can feel it all the way up through the rod, so does make a difference what gear you use. Not a fan, as I said yesterday, not a fan of big rods, big reels, big lines, big baits and just skull dragging fish up. It's not part of the fun for me, and certainly not for most of you, no doubt. Okay, bait change. I don't think it's going to make much difference. There's not much on the bite, or there's nothing on the bite, but it doesn't hurt to change the bait so we can spark them up. Look at those cloud formations today. Westerlies blowing them pretty fast, sun hiding behind the clouds. So with the curly tails, I more often do a retrieve, like fast retrieve and drop, fast retrieve and drop, all the way back to the boat, just to use that tail. Well, the wind's got the better of me here, swirling me around a bit too much. We've got nothing on the bite, so we're going to move on to the next spot and then finish up for the morning. You win some, oh, there's a zephyr across the water. Oh, a soldier on. Okay, so we're up towards the lake entrance up here. Opens up to the beach out that way in Green Island. The lake's open, the entrance at the moment, so that's good. But we've got shallow flats right across here, 1 to 2 foot. Over near the caravan park there, there's a slightly deeper channel, and that's heading up to the main system that way. All right, we'll throw a few lines. Light westerly wind blowing. So I'm using the Berkeley Bender 120. It's just a slow retrieve. It's a fairly easy lure to use. I like to use it in shallows like this, the flatties. Go all right on that. See how we go. The tailor love it too. Alright, so we're headed over to an adjacent lake next to Lake Conjola. It's called Lake Berringer. It's quite close by. It's a nice little spot. We've got a drop off over here that we can try and throw some soft plastics and have a go over here. Yeah, so we've hit a couple of spots this morning. Used the soft plastics and a few tricks, but there was nothing doing, so headed up to Lake Berringer here, and I'm going to switch strategies for a little bit, going to a deep diver. It's a DD squirrel. But I'm going to throw this for a little while and just see how we go. Deep divers are just a fast retrieve. Got a hit here, I think. That deep diver. Let's see what we've got. Trying something different sometimes can work. Sometimes they have a bit of a run once they get up to the boat, don't they? But I guess it feels like a flatty. Alright, we've got ourselves a flatty there, so that's good to finally get a hit. The soft plastics have been really hard work, really not getting much, so I went with that deep diver and scored. Alright, so he's just over 40 centimetres, so he's a keeper. Got that one flatty on this deep diver. I've had a few more casts since, and been a lucky one, that one. No other bites on the deep diver, so nice lucky shot on that. It's a good change up. There's my mate the pelican, coming to see what I've got. Well, there you have it. That's a couple of hours out for the morning. Thanks for coming and having a fish with me and a ride. I hope you enjoyed the video and got to show you right up and around the main Lake Conjola and Lake Berringer, and we only caught the one fish, but in a couple of hours that's all we had. So the lake's very shut down at the moment. I'm not seeing a lot of fish and a lot of action pretty much anywhere. So getting that one fish was not a bad score for the morning for 2 hours work. The pelicans will get some carcass there when I cut it up, have some lunch with it. But yeah, look, thanks for coming to watch the video, and appreciate you being here, and next time as summer comes along there'll be more fish around and we'll catch more fish. Cheers.
got ourselves a platy there, so that's good to finally get a hit.